Feel your feet on the floor and your back against the pew or chair, and to drop your shoulders. Let those relax. We will strike the singing bowl 3 times, and as the sound fills the room and then fades, we invite you to bring yourself fully here at this place and at this time. I will now be lighting the chalice. For Unitarian Universalists, the flaming chalice is a symbol of the lighting and the learning and the love of our community. As our congregation's chalice is lit, we invite you to light your own at home. Please join us in singing Rise Up, O Flame. We also invite you to come up and light a candle. These are for the loved ones here in spirit. We invite you to bring these up, and so that you might honor these people in memory, honor, and love today. They will be with us in spirit.
Come up and get a candle, and we're going to figure out how to do this. We light candles this season, candles of joy, despite all sadness.
Candles of hope where despair keeps watch.
Candles of courage for fears ever present.
Candles of courage for fears ever present, and candles of peace for tempest-tossed days.
Candles of graces to ease heavy burdens.
Candles of love to inspire all living.
And candles that were burned all the year long.
May we be present in the light.
remember. Remember those whom we love. And when we're here today, let us put them in our hearts. Enjoy their presence.
We are gathered here, and we want to welcome everybody who is joining us here today in present, or those of you who are joining us at home. Just as a reminder, we want to set our cell phones off to so they won't ring, which I had forgotten to do myself, so a reminder is for myself. We are a welcoming community and a welcoming congregation, whoever you are, wherever you come from, however you identify, and whoever you love, you are welcome here. And our Sunday services are different each week, and so that we can honor and learn from the various traditions that our people bring to us. And today, we're going to be doing things just a bit differently, and our service will be led by Reverend Dr. Deane, Olivia, although I'll be referring to her now as Reverend Deane. And did I say Reverend Doctor? Good. I wasn't sure I had that.
AU works too.
And we are celebrating this season. Okay, let me here.
We're going to do a responsive reading. The words will be up here, and hopefully they'll be high enough so that you can read them all.
Okay. Why celebrate Christmas?
I don't know how this works, so we might not celebrate Christmas. Here we go. Okay. Why celebrate Christmas? Let's see. And to reflect upon the miraculousness of birth.
Solstice, the sun has returned about to begin again the process of the rebirth of nature, and so we may once more marvel at the regeneration of plant and of animal and of human. Why celebrate Christmas?
To celebrate the living of life.
For this is our one and only opportunity to laugh and cry, to sense and appreciate, to feel and name, to accept and create, to do and give, to live and love.
Why celebrate Christmas?
To recall the spirit of the great prophet, Jesus.
For we preach no greater commandment than the love of God and the love of thy neighbor.
Why celebrate Christmas?
To join in the fellowship of giving.
For this is a time for us to come together and give our friendship and our love and thus ourselves. And so, in the words of Reverend Laura Allen, I think I'm pronouncing her first name correctly, Bellamy. In the spirit of Christmas, in tribute to the spirit of Charles Dickens and the spirit of Christmas past, let us gather to listen and learn the ancient stories that our heart may find wisdom. In the spirit of Christmas present, let us gather to view and question the way things are, that our hearts may seek justice. In the spirit of Christmas future, let us gather to dream and to plan the way things will be, that our hearts may be reclaimed by hope.
This is our holiday, folks. Christmas is as Unitarian as could be, and I'm going to tell you and show you why. As we celebrate the history of this remarkable season, let us remember that every grain, every word, every phrase is a mixture of legend, myth, and sometimes even fact. Let us enjoy our new information without rigidifying it into uncontrollable truth. I've been told that Saturnalia is an ancient Roman festival and holiday honoring the agrarian god Saturn. And we know from our earth-centered and pagan group that the winter solstice, the time that comes when the harvest is done, is a time when we get to gather ourselves in to rest, relax, and to celebrate. So way back in the Roman times, they would start out with a sacrifice at the temple, and then it was followed by a carnival atmosphere of food, drink, partying, gambling. Masters and slaves sometimes exchanged roles, and an atmosphere of freedom and abandon and promiscuity were present. It started around mid-December, and according to the Roman calendar, lasted from 5 to 7 days. As the solstice progressed and the renewal of light began, it became the custom to celebrate Sol Invictus, the birthday of the unconquerable sun, on December 25th. Sun, S-U-N, the sun in the heavens. Now, when Christianity became the religion of the state and was becoming embedded into Roman life, the establishment found it expedient to latch onto the days for celebration that everybody was already celebrating. So, what could be more expedient than the birthday of the sun? The birthday of Jesus and the birthday of Sol became one. And so, according to lore, the ribald festivities of Saturnalia became entwined with the Christian holy days. Jesus was not the reason for the season. He was more of an add-on, extra. It is also suggested that the solstice was in many different ones. Celebration of the solstice, the celebration of the harvest was in many, many communities. It was all throughout the world. Okay? But always, it happened after we've harvested the food, we've slaughtered the cattle, we've fermented the wines, and now we can celebrate. Well, the American colonies were not immune. Revelry was the order of the season, often sliding in debauchery. The devout Puritans, though, they were aghast. This was not what they came to America for, right? They wanted piety. They wanted, done with this vile form of indecency. It was so offensive that they tried to get rid of it through political machinations. They outlawed the celebration of Christmas and made it punishable by 5-shilling fine. Courts and public offices were specifically kept open even on Christmas Day, but all throughout the season. Shops were open, and as you might expect, damping the fervor was a very difficult task. It was made even more so by the Industrial Revolution and the rush to urbanization. Party hardy, the birth of Jesus was important only in a few circles. What could be done? What should we do about this? How do we make this change? In the 1800s, enter the Unitarians, the Universalists, and those who were like-minded. For them, changing Christmas entailed changing the culture, finding items and rituals that turned us to family, takes us off the streets. How do we do that? Well, interesting, the first change was actually done by a sometimes Unitarian. Okay, get that? Actually a Trinitarian, but if you look at his beliefs, he was truly a Universalist. So there you go. Clement Clark Moore, professor of Oriental and Greek literature at Columbia University, in 1823 wrote a poem, A Visit from St. Nicholas. Now, you know, St. Nicholas was really a kind of stern guy here, a bishop. He was a bishop. But some say that this one poem gave parents a vision of what Christmas was supposed to look like and created an entire mythology which has been used in this country as a model for the perfect Christmas ever since. So we're stuck with this, right? 'Twas the night before Christmas when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hope that St. Nicholas would soon be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mama, in her kerchief, and I, in my cap, had just settled down for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there rose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters, and I threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new-fallen snow gave the luster of the midnight to objects below. When what to my wondering eyes would appear? In a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment that it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came, and he whistled and he shouted and he called them by name. Dasher and Dancer, Prancer and Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, and Blitzen. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky, so up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry, his cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up in a bow, and he heard the beard of his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him, in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know that I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team, gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere to drive out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night." This is so embedded now in our culture that it's hard to even understand how important it was. The enormity of its influence. It's hard to imagine. And within 10 years, gift-giving had once again become a tradition. Soon instead of complaints about the bawdy revelry, the partying of the adults, the new Puritan complaint was selfishness, greed, commercialism, corrupting the children. Well, what to do now? Enter the Christmas tree. Unitarian minister Charles Follen of Lexington, Massachusetts, began setting up a Christmas tree in 1835. Could you take that off, please? This was a tradition of his native Germany, and he wanted his son Charlie to see its beauty. Two of his Unitarian friends, Harriet Martineau and Catherine Sedgwick, both wrote about this beautiful tree, which was unveiled on Christmas Eve. Harriet wrote from the viewpoint of this quaint New England tradition. Oh, really? Became a tradition. And Catherine wrote through her children's stories. And it was hoped through these adjuncts to the tree itself that not the gifts, but the tree would be the surprise of the holiday. It was hoped that gift giving on the part of the children would become just as important as gift receiving. Now, casting St. Nick as a jolly, old, caring man was an attempt not to commercialize Christmas, but rather to return to the custom of joyous celebration of family and bounty. And that it did. But then, for some, bounty became the most important element. Santa was followed by the advent of the Christmas tree. The Christmas tree was supposed to bring back a sense of mystery, surprise, and awe to the season, which it did, before it was commercialized, perhaps beyond repair. What next? So, once again, the Unitarians get up there, and the Unitarians wait. Across the pond, Charles Dickens visited New England in 1843, and he felt such a strong attraction to the Unitarian values and ideals that when he returned to England, he and his family joined the Unitarian Church. They were lifelong Unitarians. In that very first year, he wrote a book. On December 19th of that year, he published 6,000 copies of a very small book entitled A Christmas Carol. It sold out in 5 days, an instant success. And according to many, it laid the foundation for Christmas as we know it today. So we've got Santa Claus, we've got the tree, okay, we've got gift giving. But his take, his spirits, looked at it as a time of love, a time of giving, a time of social outreach, of helping the poor, the sick, and the homeless. And it helped that Unitarian Margaret Fuller visited the deaf and dumb, it's a quote, in a New York asylum on Christmas Day. And that visit was publicized by Horace Greeley. So her work was publicized, and service agencies throughout the United States began to profit from these expressions of care and to utilize it for fundraising. And we all know about fundraising during Christmas. Louisa May Alcott's broadly read book, Little Woman. Think about what it did. It showcased how 4 girls spent Christmas morning distributing packages to the poor. And what girl did not want to be one of those 4 little women? So let's add one more area to this, our Unitarian holiday. Hymns. While most of the earlier hymns focused on the birth of Jesus, UU hymns radically focused on the social gospel, peace on earth, and goodwill to men. You know these hymns, and Matt is going to show us a couple of pages of them. There you go. Yeah. UUs have written a lot of Christmas hymns. But note that the hymns focus not on the nativity, but on the elements of peace on earth and goodwill to men. They proclaim our Unitarian Universalist values, and in time, they have become an integral part of Christmas throughout this land. So when we say that Christmas is a Unitarian holiday, you can see how much in the United States in particular we have contributed to the way in which it is celebrated and loved. One of these songs that we just looked at, "It Came Upon a Midnight Clear," let us rise and sing.
That song, the lyrics of the song make you think it was perhaps written yesterday. One other thing I have to say before this, probably the most popular modern song is White Christmas. Now, it was written by a Jew who couldn't be with his wife at Christmas time, and especially because their daughter had died a year before, and he didn't want her to be by herself. And so the song became very popular because not only did Bing Crosby sing it, but because the war was going on. We have one more thing to look at, I think, for our time, and this are the stories about the birth of Jesus. So let us now, in our story for all ages, hear the story of what happened. The Christmas story. Now, the angel Gabriel had come to Mary and told her that she was going to have a baby called Jesus, and that baby would be very special. Mary and Joseph prepared for the arrival of this special baby. Mary and Joseph had to travel to a town called Bethlehem to register with the government. And when they arrived, there were no hotel rooms, no place for them to stay. A kind innkeeper in Bethlehem let Mary and Joseph stay in a stable and for the night. Baby Jesus was born in a manger in that stable. Now, at the same time, an angel appeared to some shepherds nearby. The angels told them that Jesus, the Son of God, had been born in Bethlehem. And the shepherds walked to Bethlehem to visit the baby Jesus. And then far away in the east, wise men saw a bright star in the sky. They knew it meant that a new king had been born, and they followed the star. Who could it be? On the way to the stable, they came to King Herod's palace. Herod was curious about the new king. He had heard some ideas about the prophecy, and he asked the wise men to tell him where the baby was. So the wise men reached Bethlehem. They gave Jesus gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And that night, the wise men had a dream, warning them not to go tell the king Herod where Jesus was. So they decided not to go back to the king's Herod's palace. At the same time, Joseph had a dream where an angel told him to take Mary and Jesus to Egypt. Mary and Joseph traveled to Egypt with baby Jesus, where they were all safe. And in part of this story, let me get my place here so I can announce this. We have the music of Mary's Baby Child. And this, as you see, is being performed by Forrest, Ryan, and John.
So it's just going to be me and John, but that's okay.
Ryan's there in spirit, so.
Well, a long time ago in Bethlehem, so the Holy Bible said, Mary's boy child, Jesus Christ, was born on Christmas Day. Hark now, hear the angels sing, a new king is born today, and man will live forevermore because of Christmas Day. The trumpets sound and the angels sing, listen to what they say, that man will live forevermore because of Christmas Day. While shepherds watched their flocks by night, saw a bright new shining star. They heard a choir of angels sing, you know the music came from afar. Well, Joseph and his wife Mary came to Bethlehem that night, and they found no place to birth her child, not a single room was in sight. Well, hark now, hear the angels sing, a new king is born today, and man will live forevermore because of Christmas Day. Trumpets sound and the angels sing, listen to what they say, that man will live forevermore because of Christmas Day. Well, by and by they found a little nook in a stable all forlorn, and in a manger cold and dark Mary's boy, child Jesus was born. Well, hark now, hear the angels sing, new King is born today, and man will live forevermore because of Christmas Day. Trumpets sound and the angels sing, listen to what they say, that man will live forevermore because of Christmas Day. That man will live forevermore because of Christmas Day.
Thank you very much.
So we have a few children here, and wondered if they would like to go out now for a little bit of time. Let's have them have just a little bit of relaxation.
Okay. And now we're going to have the children go, and they will be going to the library. Go now in peace, go now in peace, may the Let me turn. We're going to talk. Get my place here.
This is part of the giving and receiving.
That's it. I'm looking for it here, so I make sure I don't say anything. In the spirit that comes with Christmas, we give gifts and we share that, and we give it by our work, we give it by our thoughts, and we give it by actual physical means, such as in terms of money. These offerings are a sacrament to the free church, and you may place your donation in the plates, or as it comes out to you, or on your way out. You can use the code, which is not up here, but if you would like, you can also donate via our website. And as you enjoy, is there any music to play now? That's right, we're going to have, I'm very pleased to tell you that Ryan is going to sing a special song that I think will capture much of the spirit of the hope for this season. The stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious moon.
was to love one another. His law is love, and his gospel is peace. Chains shall he break, for the slave is our brother, and in his name all oppression shall cease. Sweet hymns of joy in grateful chorus raise we, and oh, with us praise his holy name. Oh, hear the angel voices. Oh, night divine. Oh, night when Christ was born. Oh, night divine. Oh, night
We appreciate the giving of the gifts. We hope to use them wisely in our community. 2 points of personal distraction. It was so beautiful. Ryan, the song is just gorgeous, but just as gorgeous was watching the look on your son's face as he watched you sing. It was lovely. I don't believe in any of the words to most of these Christ spirituals, and I don't believe in the words to gospel singing. And I love them both because they carry you away. You don't have to believe in the words to believe in the feeling, that awe and wonder that you get. Separating fact from fiction. Let's listen to what Reverend Roger Fritz has written, A Unitarian Christmas.
Hold on. For the people at home.
God rest ye Unitarians, let nothing you dismay. Remember there's no evidence there was a Christmas day. When Christ was born is just not known, no matter what they say. Oh, tidings of reason and fact, reason and fact, tidings of reason and fact. There was no star in Bethlehem, there was no angel song. There could have been no wise men, the trip would take too long. The stories in the Bible are historically wrong. Oh, tidings of reason and fact, reason and fact, the tidings of reason and fact. Our current Christmas customs come from Persia and from Greece, from solstice celebrations of the ancient Middle East. We know our so-called holiday is just a pagan feast. Oh, tidings of reason and fact, reason and fact, glad tidings of reason and fact.
A little elusive during this season, wouldn't you say? Love that song. You youths are so hung up on reason and fact, it's almost one of our core beliefs. And yet, fact is so difficult these days. Do you remember, well, some of you remember, when we wanted to know something, we'd run to the library and we'd get the Encyclopedia Britannica or the World Book, and we'd find the answer to our question, and we'd leave satisfied, okay? You know, we now knew the answer. We had knowledge. Well, the internet has screwed that for us, okay? So we ask Google our question, and Google comes back with 50,000 replies. Each of us telling us over and over again, okay, how little we know. Those replies often contradict each other, you know, and we've got to, which one, should we just pick the one we like? You know, our perception is so slanted, and the internet does such a good job of reminding us of that. Catholic leaders during the Roman times were very good marketers. They got Jesus on the calendar, which was a big plus for their emerging religious identity. But unfortunately, with time and the focused drive of some of the leaders, Jesus became God, the Messiah, the King, the deliverer of heaven and the afterlife, and all that entails to we humans at a price. As the structure of Catholic and Christian church grew as a whole, it became more than rigid, it became calcified. You had to believe. You had to do as you were told. You had to accept the consequences. And let's face it, you don't like to be told what to do. So we formed our own little group, and it had in it many wounded warriors, Christians that had been hurt from things that they couldn't stomach. Unfortunately, we threw the baby out with the bathwater. So many of us developed such anathema and antagonism toward Christianity that we suppressed any positive aspects of that religion. Jesus personifies the positives of that particular tradition. Jesus is the reason for this season, and I am really, really happy for that, because I look at Jesus and I see a person who was gentle, a teacher, who was kind. I see somebody that I can admire and respect. Let's look at Jesus' teachings. From a holistic viewpoint, there are several themes that ran through the Gospels. And okay, here's a distraction, okay? The Gospels of the New Testament are what Christianity has used as its foundation. Even though newer information has been found, such as the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Nag Hammadi Scrolls, these are exciting and inclusive new finds, but our established religions can't handle that. These were discovered in the 1940s. They're separate, they're different. They have very different ways in which they communicate. They're in fragments, so our religion is coupled with becoming more fragmented, because as we learn these new things, we don't know how to integrate them. We don't know how to utilize that knowledge. But with that additional knowledge, we also have more information, and this information, as we look at Jesus, shows us a continuity between all of them. We don't know much about the childhood of Jesus. He could have been a normal kid that helped his dad as a carpenter. Perhaps he read a lot of the Jewish scriptures. What we do know is that he left home at the age of 12, and he resurfaced when he was 30. What did he do during that time? According to the information that we think we have, he traveled to find out more about himself, to figure out who he was and what he believed in. Okay, how many of us have gone on that journey? Right? It's likely that he found the Essenes, which is a Jewish sect, and he was with them at least as a student, perhaps later as a teacher. He incorporated much of what they had to say, and their influence on him can be seen in much of what he says. We know that he was well read by some of his quotes, because some of his quotes were actually said by other people way before him, and they were just attributed to Jesus. Not unusual during that time. So he finally got to a point where he was ready to be a minister. Okay, but he needed to talk. He was ready to say what he believed. He felt confident in what he believed, and he was ready to spread the word. What are his constant themes? Love, love, love. Love as you would like to be loved. Forgiveness. And you keep forgiving. Not only your enemies, but your friends and your relatives and your acquaintances. How many times did you forgive somebody? How many times? 77 times you should forgive someone. By the way, some of you know the Bible and have heard this, and I want to say right here that the reason we included the nativity story was because for the unchurched, we find that many don't know it. For children, 43% of kids in one study, Christian children who went to Christian religious education, did not know the nativity stories. A little bit ridiculous, right? So we included it here. Jesus also believed in action, okay? What we need to do is do what is right. It is important how we act. Mercy, kindness, compassion. We give to the poor, we comfort those who need comforting, we are generous to all. And justice. Stand up for your beliefs. Don't waver from your values. Family, community, both by blood and by choice. They are to be respected, loved, and forgiven. And then there's peace. Blessed are the peacemakers. These are Jesus' major themes, over and over and over again, in his stories, in his one-liners, in his parables. Jesus also talks a lot about God. Now, some of it is very institutionalized, written into the Gospels, okay, by the leaders of the church who needed us to focus in on their way of thinking. But we do appreciate the God of love, if we believe in God. Some of us do believe in God. Some of us do not believe in God. But whether or not you believe in God, there is a whole ensemble of Jesus' theology that I imagine resonates with you. Do you know of any religious tradition that believes in respecting others, working for justice, treating others with dignity out of love, searching for your own faith values, being confident in your ability to express yourself, having faith in community? Do you know of any religion like this? Wait a minute. I know that faith tradition. It's in my heart. It is my faith tradition. Jesus is the reason for this season. Welcome, Jesus. Let us welcome Jesus.
As we close, for the people who are watching us, are watching us, we wish you a Merry Christmas, and we hope that you have been part of us today. And now we would like to bring the children back.
You can find them.